All right. Good morning and welcome to today's 5 for 5 devotion. So, in my quiet times with my D group and the quiet times we have with our Olympians ministry, we are back again in the book of Joshua, reading about how Joshua led God's people, the Israelites, into different Canaanite cities in the Promised Land to defeat those cities. God was using his people, the Israelites, to execute judgment on the Canaanites because they followed false gods and they did evil things. The problem is this: the Israelites ran up against a battle that they couldn't win. And the reason was because there was someone in the Israelite group who had sinned. Now you may think, well, everybody sins. What's the big deal? Well, let me ask you this. How can God's people execute judgment on the Canaanites if they're doing evil as well, right? That means judgment would have to now be executed on them. And that's what happened. God said, look, Joshua, you need to take the one who sins and you need to remove that sin from your group, from your camp. You need to purge yourself of that sin. Why? Because you are a holy group of people. You are set apart as God's people. You shouldn't look like the Canaanites. You shouldn't do evil like they do. You are to be different. You know, my wife and I, we were out this weekend doing some shopping for Halloween costumes. We want to do trunk or treat at home, and so we have a theme that we're going to do. We're all going to do Scooby-Doo or something fun like that. And we want to minister to our neighbors during Halloween and do trunk or treat at home. So one of the things we noticed and we talked about in the car is how dark the world is getting. I mean, it just seems like it's getting darker and darker and darker, and people are embracing the darkness more and more. Now, you know that darkness is the absence of light, and the light is getting dimmer and dimmer and dimmer, and we're supposed to be a light in that darkness. Here's what I fear, though, for a lot of our brothers and sisters, and even myself sometimes. We're a lot like this flashlight. We are designed as believers to be a light in the darkness, and this flashlight, as you can see, it has batteries in it. But here's the thing: it no longer works anymore. The batteries have been here so long that they've lost their charge and they've never been recharged. So the thing is, a lot of us are like that. We got that initial charge and that initial design and call from God to be one of his people, but we've lost that charge. We don't spend time with the Holy Spirit. We don't spend time with God daily. We don't look like God. We're not holy the way God asks us to be. And so basically, we have no effect in the darkness because we look just like the darkness. But that's not the way it's supposed to be. In Peter, we read this: you are a chosen race. That's talking about you and me as believers. A royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for God's own possession, so that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who has called you out of darkness and into marvelous light. That's from 1 Peter 2:9. Why are we a holy people? Why are we separate? Why should we look different? Because God has chosen us to go and be a light in the darkness and to proclaim who he is by the way that we live, the way that we talk, everything we do. Hey, I hope today you spend some time with God, setting yourself apart. Be holy because God is holy, and look different than the world. In fact, I hope you can look so different that people come up to you and say, why are you so different than everybody else? Because you're holy and you've been set apart by Jesus. You're God's special people. I hope you have a great day. See ya.